everyone. It is Friday morning. I am on my way to work on the 405 freeway, Southern California, fall of 2018, October 19. Today I wanted to do a response to a video that was put out by an individual in the MBTI online community here by the name of Paradox. She is an INTJ, as I am an INTJ, and she's talking about this system of MBTI and how it doesn't really fit a real-world situation in all cases. And she was saying that she believes that mostly INTJs are the ones that are predominantly seeing this, and that I would have to agree that as a majority of individuals that question the system of MBTI, I think that it would be the INTJs. I have seen INTJ guy, or the guy, the big upset of how he rejected MBTI, and he called it demonic and having demonic origins. And I watched his series and I found it very compelling. And I'm not fully invested in MBTI. I am an INTJ according to the system of MBTI. And my dominant characteristics, are introverted, intuitive, thinking, and judging. Those are just four aspects of a wide variety of different human functions that were chosen. When this system was being put together, they put 8 different functions down, in opposite of each other. And Carl Jung was the guy who was heavily, into the occult and took these ideas. Now, does that mean that MBTI is totally demonic and you shouldn't consider the truths of that? Well, that's for each person to decide for themselves. But the way I look at it is kind of like yoga. A lot of Christian believers wouldn't want to practice yoga because of this new age aspect to it. But I mean, you take away all that philosophy, you take away all the intention of yoga, and basically what is it? It's just stretching exercises, and strength training. That's kind of how I look at MBTI. I mean, there are truths in it, and I'm not going to get into the esoteric aspects of MBTI. And if something is true, it'll ring true. It'll show itself to be true. And if something is opposed to my current worldviews, then I'm going to adopt that which I know fits into my own worldviews. So, I would have to agree, with this whole thing about MBTI as being an imperfect system that is trying to define each one of us and put us into a slot, categorize all of us as different types of functioning beings. When in reality, we're all on a spectrum of these functions, and there's other functions that have yet to be identified. Let's just put it that way. There's other aspects of the human functionality that are varying degrees of some of the other functions. It's just a matter of, as the theory develops, or as we begin to narrow our definitions in not just, in the in the scholastic realm, but here on YouTube, as we discuss these things, we flush things out, and we come into a better understanding of the differences between each other. Now, it's easy for me to talk about the INTJ and the ENFP because those are like two extremes of the spectrum of this symmetrical system. Because it's like, okay, try to talk about someone in the middle of that, and then you start running into issues because there's a lack of vocabulary, there's a lack of clarity in regard to how much does this person use the judging function over the sensing function, or whatever the function you're talking about. And that's another thing, as an INTJ, I'm looking at this system, for the past few years, and I'm thinking, well, what is sensing internal, SI, what is FI, really trying to understand those functions better. Number one, because S is not part of the function stack or whatever that I fall under, or maybe it is and I just don't understand the definition, because then they start getting into these varying degrees of primary function, secondary function, tertiary function. To me, that has always been a matter of what is more conscious in your head. Are you a conscious thinker, or do you do all your thinking subconsciously and most of your feelings are conscious feelings? On the flip side of that, are you burying your feelings in your subconscious, where you're not really aware of your feelings, but those then they would like throw that down on like maybe a secondary or a tertiary level of the function, quote unquote, stack, or whatever they want to call it. To me, it's just a spectrum. It's like faders on a mixer board. You either amplify the function or you bring the volume down. And so each one of those is going to have an infinite number of combinations of high and low amplitude on this spectrum of human existence. Okay, that's the beauty of it all, is that we're all individual. We all have our own unique design as individuals. We are all unique. So those are my thoughts today on, and this is a response to Paradox's video. And so blessings to everyone. I look forward to my next video, and keep seeking truth.